So a fair die being tossed once or twice, or two fair dies being tossed once. So there will be what we call sample spaces, and when you get the sample spaces, you will now be able to use it to find whatever it is that is being requested from you. Obviously, a fair die has how many faces? That is six faces. Yes or no?
Six.
Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. So
Yes,
it
sir.
has six faces, and that means if there are two, or if one is tossed twice, then the six faces are going to be, repeated for the sample space. So let me share the screen now so that we can get going. So a fair die or two fair die. So a fair die is tossed twice. Okay, so find the probability of obtaining following. So what's the first thing there?
A sum of 8.
A sum of 8. What's the next thing?
A difference of 1.
A difference of 1. Is that all?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's add more questions. Let's say find probability of obtaining the same number on the two attempts. And probably let's add the last one and say probability of obtaining different numbers on the two attempts. So now, like I mentioned, you will need to use what is called sample space. So I'm going to be drawing up sample space now. For my sample space, we have a line like this, another line crossing it at the top like this. So now there are six faces on a die, so I'll be needing six spaces. So this is space for 1, this is space for 2, then third one, fourth one, the fifth one, and the sixth one. Okay. Sixth one. So having this, I'm going to have the other one. So are you following?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the sixth one. So this is the fifth one, while this stands for the sixth one. Now here, I'm going to be putting up all the entries all the space samples. So for the first die, or for the first attempt, I have phase 1, 2, 3. Let me undo that. So 3, 4, 5, and 6. So I don't have beyond 6. Rakib, you are welcome to the class. Just focus as we move on. So number here also for the second attempt, or for the second die, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, we're talking about a die that is used in playing Ludo. A die has 6 spaces, and because it has 6 spaces, we now say a fair die is tossed twice. This is the first attempt, the second attempt. So it's possible that the first attempt shows 1, and the second attempt shows 1. It's possible that the first attempt shows 1, the second shows 2. First is 1, second is 3. First is 1, second is 4. First is 1, the second is 5. And first is 1, the second shows 6. So I can put a comma, separate the attempts, and put a comma in between. Then it is possible that the first attempt is 2, while the second attempt is 1. First attempt is 2, second attempt is as well 2. First attempt is 2, just one is 2, then second attempt is 3. First attempt is 2, then second is 4. And we continue like that to have 2, 5, that's 5 is too big. So 2, 5, and this one 2, 6. Then it's also possible we have 3, 1, 3, 2, 3, 3, 3, 4, 3, 5, and 3, 6. Then it's possible we have 4 for the first attempt and 1 for the second attempt. So 4, 2, 4, 3, 4, 4, and 4, 5, 4, 6. 4, 6. Then the next one is possible also 5, 1. Rocky, if your face is not showing, 5, 2, 5, 3, then 5, 4. Yeah, that's better. 5, 4. Then 5, 5, and 5, 6. So assume it's 2 fair dice that are tossed. So if you have 1, 1, they will say you have double 1. Or if you have 2, 2 is double 2. Or if you have 4, 2, that is 4, 2. So the last plane, 6, 1, 6, 2, 6, 3, 6, 4, then 6, 5, and finally we have 6, 6. That's when you claim to have double 6 on 2 fair dice. Okay, now let's attempt. What is our sample space? How many entries do you see here altogether? How many entries are here altogether?
7.
No, you don't count this lane. This first line, don't count it, and this second line, don't count it. So just count all these entries.
6, 6, 6. Should I say 12?
No, we can see 6 in the first line, 6 in the second line, and so on. So and so on. So how many altogether now?
6 or 2.
6 or 2. So count everything together. So that's how many? That is 6 times 6. That's what?
36.
36. So that means our sample space is 36. We have possibility of getting any of these 36 attempts. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
And this is what is called number of possible attempts, or like with what is probability again? What's the definition?
It can be defined as the ratio of the required outcome of the possible outcome.
The required outcome to the possible outcome. That is number of required outcomes over number of possible outcomes. So what is our number of possible outcomes for this particular question? How many possible outcomes do we have for this sample space now?
36.
36 possible outcomes. Okay. Now for question A. Question A says find probability of getting what?
The
sum
sum of
of 8. So how many of the items show sum of 8? Let's count.
6,
1. 2 plus 6 is what?
8,
Then 2. 3 plus 5 is what?
8,
3. 4 plus 4 is what?
8,
Then 4. 5 plus 3 is 8. And lastly, 6 plus 2. So how many outcomes are there now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that means probability of getting sum of 8 is what? 5 over what?
8, 36.
Yes, 5 over 36. Now, the second question says difference of what?
1,
Of 1. So which ones will give us difference of 1? 1 minus 1 will not give us 1, but 2 minus 1 will give us 1, yes or no?
yes, sir.
So if you subtract this, you get 1. If you subtract this, you get 1. Which other one can we subtract to give us 1?
4 and 3,
Okay, 4 and 3, right? 5 and
Yes,
6
sir.
will give us 1. Then 4 and 3
3 and 4,
and 3 and 4. Which other one?
5 and 4,
5 and 4. Okay. So let me firstly cross out the ones that we have used. So 5 and 4. And what again? 4 and 5.
yes,
Then what? 6 and 5 and 5 and 6, right?
yes, sir.
Is that all?
Yes,
What about 3 and 2?
yes,
And
3
2
and
and
2,
3.
2 and 3,
Yes. So that should be all by now. That's a difference of what?
1,
1. So let's count together. So we have 1, 2, 3,
3,
4,
4,
5,
1, 3,
6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 10. So that will be 10 over what? 10 over 36. And 2 here is what?
5,
2 here is what? 18. So you won't meet this particular answer in the objective question, but you meet this answer because you have to reduce the lowest time. Okay?
yes, sir.
All right. So to the third question, find the probability of getting the same number on the 2 attempts. Same number. So that is like 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, right?
Yes, sir.
So let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So that will be probability of getting the same number equal to 6 over what? What do you say?
6 over 36,
Very good. So let me understand. Equal to 6 over 36. And that will be what?
1 over 6,
1 over 6. No, 1 over 6. Because 6 here 1. 6 here 6. Okay? Now, the last one.
yes, sir.
What do you think we should do for the last one?
To count all the numbers that are different.
That are different. But do you know there's another way to get that without counting the number? You know, if we toss our 2 dice once, it is possible we get the same number, and it's also possible we get different number. Is there any other thing possible apart from those 2 occurrences?
No, sir.
Then the answer to this should be 5 over 6. Hold on. Different number. The answer should be what?
5 over 6.
How and why? Listen. Once probability is certain, it is no more probability. Any probability that the answer is 1 is no more what?
probability.
but it's certainty. It's certainty. So it is noted that it is either we get different numbers or what? It is when we toss two dice once. It's either we get different numbers or what? Or the same. Or the same. The same. So this is certain and there's nothing else possible outside this. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Very good. Because it's certain, the result of different or the same must be one. Must be what?
One.
So if I am looking for this particular answer and I don't know it, I call it X. But I already have the probability for same, which is what? 1 over 6.
1 over 6.
So I will say the difference that I'm looking for plus, because or in probability means plus. Or in probability means what?
Plus.
So that is X plus 1 over 6. Give us 1. In this way, I can say X equal to 1 minus 1 over 6. 1 minus 1 over 6. Then solving this using LCM, so that is 1 minus 1 over 6. This is 1 over 1. What is the LCM of 6 and 1? 6. How many 1 is here? 6. 6 times 1, 6. Minus, how many 6 is here? 1. 1 times 1, 1. So what is the answer?
5 over 6.
That is why I didn't even calculate. I just put 5 over 6. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. I'm going to round up the session and send another link so that we can continue. Okay? Okay, so, just in case you need to put this down, I will maybe urgently, I will send the screenshot of this page to you now so that you can have the note, but expect the link soon. Okay? All right. So do stay tuned. So a fair die being tossed once or twice, or 2 fair dice being tossed once. So there will be what we call sample spaces, and when you get the sample spaces, you will now be able to use it to find whatever it is that is being requested from you. Obviously, a fair die has how many faces? That is 6 faces. Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes,
okay, very good.
Yes.
So it has 6 faces, and that means if there are 2, or if 1 is tossed twice, then the 6 faces are going to be, repeated for the sample space. So let me share the screen now so that we can get going. So a fair die or 2 fair dice. So a fair die is tossed twice. Okay, so find the probability of obtaining following. So what's the first thing there?
A sum of 8.
A sum of 8. What's the next thing?
A difference of 1.
A difference of 1. Is that all?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's add more questions. Let's say one probability of obtaining the same number on the 2 attempts. 2 attempts, and probably let's add the last one and say probability of obtaining different numbers on the 2 attempts. So now, like I mentioned, you will need to use what is called sample space. So I'm going to be drawing up the sample space now. For my sample space, we have a line line like this, another line crossing it at the top like this. So now there are six faces on a die, so I'll be needing 6 spaces. So this is space for 1, this is space for 2, then third one, fourth one, the fifth one, and the sixth one here. Sixth one. So having this, I'm going to have the other one. So are you following?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the sixth one. So the fifth one, while the south stands for the sixth one. Now here, I'm going to be putting up all the entries that I'm going to be putting up all the entries, all the space samples. So for the first die or for the first attempt, I have 1, space 1, 2, 3. Let me undo that. So 3, 4, 5, and 6. So I don't have beyond 6. Rocky, you are welcome to the class. Just focus as we move on. So number here also for the second attempt or for the second dice, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we're talking about a dice that is used in playing Ludo. A die has 6 spaces, and because it has 6 spaces, we now say a fair die is tossed twice. This is the first attempt, the second attempt. So it's possible that the first attempt shows 1 and the second attempt shows 1. It's possible that the first attempt shows 1, the second shows 2. First is 1, second is 3. First is 1, the second is 4. First is 1, the second is 5. And first is 1, the second shows 6. So I can put a comma, separate the attempt, and put comma in between. Then it's possible that the first attempt is 2, while the second attempt is 1. First attempt is 2, second attempt is as well 2. First attempt is 2, just one is 2, then second attempt is 3. First attempt is 2, then second is 4. And continue like that to have 2, 5. That 5 is too big. So 2, 5 and this 1, 6. Then it's also possible we have 3, 1, 3, 2, 3, 3, 3, 4, 3, 5, and 3, 6. Then it's possible we have 4 for the first attempt and 1 for the second attempt. So 4, 2, 4, 3, 4, 4, and 4, 5, 4, 6. 4, 6. Then the next one is possible also 5, 1. Rocky, if your face is not showing, 5, 2, 5, 3, then 5, 4. Yeah, that's better. 5, 4, then 5, 5, and 5, 6. So assume it's 2 pair dice that are tossed. So if you have 1, 1, they will say you have double 1. Or if you have 2, 2, double 2. Or if you have 4, that is 4. So the last plane, 6, 1, 6, 2, 6, 3, 6, 4, then 6, 5, and finally we have 6, 6. That's when you claim to have double 6 on 2 pair dice. Okay. Now let's attempt. What is our sample space? How many entries do you see here altogether? How many entries are here altogether?
7.
No, you don't count this lane. This first line, don't count it, and this second line, don't count it. So just count all these entries.
6. 6, 6. Should I say 12?
No, you can see 6 in the first line, 6 in the second line, and so on. So and so on. So how many altogether now?
6 or 2.
6 or 2. So count everything together. So that's how many? That is 6 times 6. That's what?
36.
36. So that means our sample space is 36. We have possibility of getting any of these 36 attempts. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
And this is what is called number of possible attempts, or like what is probability again? What's the definition?
It can be defined as the ratio of the required outcome of the possible outcome.
The required outcome to the possible outcome. That is number of required outcomes over number of possible outcomes. So what is our number of possible outcomes for this particular question? How many possible outcomes do we have for this sample space now?
36.
36 possible outcomes. Okay. Now for question A. Question A says find probability of getting what? Sum of 8. So how many of the items show sum of 8? Let's count.
6.
1. 2 plus 6 is what?
8.
Then 2. 3 plus 5 is what?
8.
3. 4 plus 4 is what?
8.
Then 4. 5 plus 3 is 8. And lastly, 6 plus 2. So how many outcomes are there now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that means probability of getting sum of 8 is what? 5 over what?
8. 36.
Yes, 5 over 36. Now, the second question says difference of what? Of 1. So which ones will give us difference of 1? 1 minus 1 will not give us 1, but 2 minus 1 will give us 1. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So if you subtract this, you get 1. If you subtract this, you get 1. Which other one can we subtract to give us 1?
4 and 3.
Okay. 4 and 3, right? 5 and 6 will give us 1. Then 4 and 3.
3 and 4.
And 3 and 4. Which other one?
5 and 4.
5 and 4. Okay. So let me firstly cross out the ones that we have used. So 5 and 4. And what again? 4 and 5.
Yes.
Then what? 6 and 5 and 5 and 6, right?
Yes, sir.
Is that all?
Yes.
What about 3 and 2?
Yes,
And
3
2
and
3.
2 and 3.
Yes. So that should be all by now. That's a difference of what?
1.
1. So let's count together. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
1, 3.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 10. So that will be 10 over what? 10 over 36. And 2 here is what?
5.
2 here is what? 18. So you won't meet this particular answer in the objective question, but you meet this answer because you have to reduce to the lowest time. Okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. So to the third question, find the probability of getting the same number on the two attempts. Same number. So that is like 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, right?
Yes, sir.
So let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So that will be probability of getting the same number equal to 6 over what?
Like 30.
What do you say?
6 over 36.
So let me undo that. Equal to 6 over 36. And that will be what?
1 over 6.
1 over 6. No, 1 over 6. Because 6 here 1. 6 here 6. Okay? Now, the last one.
Yes, sir.
What do you think we should do for the last one?
Count on the numbers that are different.
That are different. But do you know there's another way to get that without counting the number? You know, if we toss our 2 dice once, it is possible we get the same number, and it's also possible we get different number. Is there any other thing possible apart from those two occurrences?
No, sir.
Then the answer to this should be 5 over 6. Hold on. Different number. The answer should be what?
5 over 6.
How and why? Listen. Once probability is certain, it is no more probability. Any probability that the answer is 1 is no more what? Or certainty. Is certainty. So it is noted that it is either we get different numbers or what? It is when we toss 2 dice once, it's either we get different numbers or what? Or the same. Or the same. So this is certain, and there's nothing else possible outside this. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Very good. Because it's certain, the result of different or the same must be 1. Must be what?
1.
So if I am looking for this particular answer and I don't know it, I call it X. But I already have the probability for same, which is what? 1 over 6.
1 over 6.
So I will say the difference that I'm looking for plus, because or in probability means plus. Or in probability means what?
Plus.
So that is X plus 1 over 6. Give us 1. In this way, I can say X equal to 1 minus 1 over 6. 1 minus 1 over 6. Then solving this using LCM, so that is 1 minus 1 over 6. This is 1 over 1. What is the LCM of 6 and 1? 6. How many 1 is here? 6. 6 times 1, 6 minus. How many 6 is here? 1. 1 times 1, 1. What's the answer?
5 over 6.
That is why I didn't even calculate. I just put 5 over 6 in. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. I'm going to round up the session and send another link so that we can continue. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, so, but just in case you need to put this down, I will maybe urgently, I will send the the screenshot of this page to you now so that you can have the notes, but expect the link soon. Okay? All right. So do stay tuned. So I'll put up the question now so that you can just, it's a very simple one, at least just to test the concept of probability. So probability that she takes out a yellow ball, a red ball, and a blue ball. Then the fourth question there say, let's see. Neither yellow nor red. Neither yellow nor red. While the fifth one says, a red or a yellow or a blue. So, attempt those questions. But if you are stuck on anyone, let me know, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right.
I'm done.
Okay. So you've gotten your 5 answers, right?
I hope so.
Okay. So let's so what's your answer to first one?
I got 1,
1, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what's the answer to the second one?
I got 3.
Okay, 3. What's the answer to the third one?
I got 1.
1. Okay, number 4.
2.
2. Number 5.
1 over
1 over what? 1 over. Now, let's look at the solution together. Solution. So the bag contains 1 red ball, 1 blue ball, and 1 yellow ball. All the balls being of the same size. Kritika takes out the ball from the bag without looking into it. So what is the probability that she takes out yellow ball, red ball, blue ball, neither yellow nor red, a red or a yellow or a blue? Now, for the first question, probability is number of required outcomes over number of possible outcomes. So what is the first question requiring? It's requesting yellow ball. Yes or no? Yellow ball.
Yes.
Very good. So how many yellow balls are there?
1.
1. So what is the
Yes, sir.
total number of balls that are there?
3.
Yeah, that makes it 1 over 3. Okay?
Yes, sir.
And to the second question, excuse me. So, are you there now?
Yes, sir.
Now, a red ball, so the same answer, because there is 1 red ball there and there are 3 balls which she could have taken any of the 3. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Then, the third question, blue ball. So it is still the same thing. It's still the same thing, which is 1 over 3 because there is 1 blue ball and there are 3. For the fourth question that says neither yellow nor red. If there is a blue ball, a red ball, and a yellow ball in a bag, and you dip your hand into it, are you listening?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Once you dip your hand into the bag, if you pick out 1 ball and you cover it with your hand and you have not checked the color, if it is not yellow and not red, then what color would it be?
Blue.
Blue. So that means that is certain, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So if we picked neither yellow nor red, then the answer must be 1. Because there are only 3 colors there. And we have said, find the probability that they picked neither what? Yellow nor red. So if the person picked neither yellow nor red, then she must have picked blue. But how do we represent this mathematically? Let's see. Neither yellow nor red. Neither yellow nor red means it's going to be probability of not picking yellow plus probability of not picking what is it called? Red. Then it's going to be probability of picking blue.
Blue.
Yes, probability of picking blue. So probability of not picking yellow, no, we just say, okay, this is 1 over 3. You understand me? Because it will be the probability of picking blue. And what is the probability of picking blue? That is 1 over 3. So I would say, if she's not picking yellow, she's not picking red, then it is certain she's picking blue. So what is the probability of picking blue? That is 1 over 3. So, but okay, let's look at the last one. The last one says, find the probability that it will be a red or a yellow or a blue. Is there any other color apart from these three colors?
No.
And then or in probability means what?
Total number of balls.
No. Or means addition. Or means what?
Addition.
While and means multiplication in probability. Okay?
Okay.
So that means probability of red plus probability of yellow plus probability of blue. So that will be 1/3 plus 1/3 plus 1/3. It is certain he must pick any one of them, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So that is 3/3, which is 1. So it's no longer a probability. It's certain that she's picking one, then she must pick any one of them. So that is how to solve that question. Let's look at one more before we call it a day today. Let's say this one. This question here. Okay, this question says, at most, a coin is tossed 2 times. Are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yes. A coin is tossed 2 times. And let me put it up here. So a coin is tossed 2 times. Find the probability of getting at most 1 head. You know, when you toss a coin, they say it's either show head or tail. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So it either shows head or tail. So with this, we say a coin is tossed twice. Let us represent the toss of the coin by drawing the outcome. So this is the first stage. We have head and tail, and the second stage we also have head and tail, then head and tail. Then we need our sample space. So it's possible the first attempt is head and the second attempt is head. Then it's possible we have head. Then it's possible the first attempt is head and the second attempt is tail. Then we have head, tail. And it's possible the first attempt is tail while the second attempt is head. And it's also possible the first attempt is tail and the second attempt is also tail. Okay, how many possible outcomes do we have?
4.
4. Very good. So since we have 4 possible outcomes, the question has to find the probability of getting at most 1 head. What does that mean?
More than 1. That should be 2. More than 1. 2.
Wait. Find the probability of getting at most 1 head. If I say there are lollipops in the room, there are lollipops in the room, and the most number you can take in a day is 1. At most, you take 1. So how many are you supposed to take in a day? 1. So what's the probability? When I say find the probability of getting at most 1 head?
It's just 1 head.
No, it's not just 1 head. It could be less than 1
Or
head.
no head.
It could be less than 1 head or 1 head at most. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So which of these outcomes are now showing whether no head or just 1 head? How many outcomes? 3 outcomes. So the probability of getting at most 1 head can be stated to be 3 out of the 4 outcomes. That's 3/4. Is that taken?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, so let's see. What of if I say at least 1 head? instead of at most 1/8.
That is
What does that mean?
still 3/4. At least that means it can be more than 1.
Yes, it can be more than 1. So that means it can be 1 or more than 1. You understand me?
Yes, sir.
So that is still 3/4. 1, 2, 3. But if I say find the probability of getting exactly 2 heads, what will be the answer?
1/4.
1/4, because this is the only 2 heads here. If I say find the probability of getting exactly 1 tail, what will be my answer?
2/4.
2/4, which is 1/2. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
What if I say
Yes, sir.
find the probability of getting 2 heads and 1 tail? 2 heads and 1 tail.
That is
Find the probability of getting 2 heads and 1 tail.
3/4.
Okay, is that your final answer?
Yes.
Because you are seeing 2 heads and you are seeing 1 tail, it's not possible. That is 0/4, which is 0. The outcome here is head, 1, 1, 1, 1. Here also, this is 2 head. This outcome is 2H 1 tail, and 2H 0 tail. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
2H no tail. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
And this one is what? 1 head, 1 tail. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
And this one is what? Same 1 head, 1 tail. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
And this outcome is what? 2 tail, no head. Yes or no?
Yes.
So which one of them is now 2 head, 1 tail?
There.
You understand? So don't go and confuse yourself and say, okay, because you say 2 head, 1 tail, you now count, oh, this 2 head, 1 tail, you now count them together. No. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, this is where we're going to be rounding up today. Tomorrow, the English, the economics and government class. Rakib, you'll be joining the economics and the government, and the English class tomorrow, being a science student, okay?
Okay, sir.
So exactly 12 o'clock, you get the link.
Okay, sir.
So let me just give you this screenshot, so the lecture will be forwarded to you. Did you get the previous lecture? Okay. No. Yeah, Rakib, you got your own previous lecture, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
And what about Clinton?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So thank you very much for joining today. We'll see you tomorrow by Grace of God. So goodbye for now.
Okay, sir.
All right. We're looking at macro and microeconomics. We're looking at macro and microeconomics. What does I say we're looking at?
Macro and microeconomics.
Okay. So we're looking at the concept so that when you see any question relating to macroeconomics or microeconomics, then you will know what we're talking about. So sharing the screen here as see macro versus microeconomics, or micro versus macroeconomics. So here is the topic here. So we're talking about microeconomics versus macroeconomics. So have you heard the two terms before?
Maybe micro. I'm not sure about macro.
Okay. Microeconomics and macroeconomics are concepts that help you to understand local information about local and global financial events. When you're talking about local and global financial events, then you are referring to micro and macro. So micro is for local, while macro is for global financial events. Then there are some overarching similarities between these concepts. There are also some differences between them in terms of their scope and in terms of their approach. So by learning their similarities and differences, you will be able to determine which concept can better support if you need to do any economic research. So that is the essence of going through this topic. It's for research purposes. So the major purpose for studying whether macro or micro is. So you can see this note on the board now. Microeconomics or macroeconomics are concepts that help you understand critical information about local and global financial events. And there are some similarities and differences between them. So when you learn the similarities, you learn the differences, then you can determine which one you will need if you are going for any kind of particular research. Is that taken?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that is that. So we're going to be looking at some key words, key takeaways from the two micro, which is micro and macro economics, and that's opposite. So looking at the key words or the key takeaways from them. So I'm going to be giving you that one by one. The first one is that microeconomics is more specific, it's a more specific discipline that studies individual consumer behavior, supply, and demand in single markets and company employment practices. So this narrows its studies to an individual's behavior, individual consumer behaviors. So take note of that above there. So that is the first point to take note of when you're comparing and contrasting between micro and macroeconomics. But macroeconomics, on the other hand, is a broader field. It's more broad than micro, focusing on national and international influences, including government policies and wide-scale unemployment. So, we want to look at what are the causes of unemployment. We want to look at how companies are doing, or about national finances or whatever. So we're talking about macroeconomics. Another point is that microeconomics is a common tool among individuals and businesses, while policymakers and researchers use macroeconomics to predict financial events and to resolve underlying market issues. So let's put that up now. So the third point there. Third point here is microeconomics is a common tool among individuals and businesses. But policymakers and researchers actually make use of macroeconomics to predict financial events and solve underlying market issues. So, of that. So now, going back to the definition, we're going to be taking them one by one. We want to define what microeconomics really is. Then we will also define what macroeconomics is. So can I clear the screen now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, what is microeconomics? Yeah, microeconomics is the discipline that focuses on the finances of individual businesses, individual households, and individual people. That is just the definition. The discipline that focuses on the finances of individual businesses, individual households, and individual people. It can help predict how individuals' budget, resources, and choosing how they can choose job positions, or how a company establishes prices for its products and services. I take that again. So it can help to predict how an individuals plan their budget resources, and how they choose job positions, or how a company establishes price for its product and service. For example, you're going to establish a school now, for example, you're going to determine how much your students are to pay, and you're going to determine how much you, as the owner of the school, you're going to pay the teachers that you employ to teach. So while the students are your own product, the services are being rendered by the teachers. So financial analysts often study microeconomics to examine a cause and effect relationship, between a financial situation or event and the amount of revenue it generates. For example, you can use microeconomics to evaluate how a company's production schedule affects its pricing policy and devise plans for enhancing this relationship. So that is about the concept of microeconomics. Now, the next is to look at what macroeconomics is. Macroeconomics. We say microeconomics is a discipline that focuses on focuses on individuals, businesses, individuals, households, individual people, and can help to predict how they budget their resources, how they choose their job position, and how they establish price for their products and their services. So that's microeconomics. Now, for macroeconomics is a discipline that focuses on large-scale financial events. It focuses, like we said before, it involves national and global events, financial events. So macroeconomics is a discipline that focuses on large-scale financial events, including how economic policies from different countries affect the global economy. For example, are you aware of the tension and war that has been ongoing for a couple of months between Russia and Ukraine?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that in turn has affected the economy of various countries across the world, because some countries depended on Russia, they depend on Russia for energy supply, while some depend on Ukraine for grain and supply of grain. And with the escalation, the government of the United States they have placed several sanctions on Russia that countries should not transact with them, and this and this. And because the countries cannot transact with them easily, except on a black market or an illegal means, then this will in turn affect the prices of the limited available resources, and that alone will affect the global economy. So, macroeconomics is a discipline that focuses on large-scale financial events, and which includes how policies from different countries affect the global economy. Is that taken?
Yes, sir.
It also examines how governments manage spending processes, how they establish tax protocols and provide services for residents. So it has to do with the government of the country. So people studying this theory may track employment rate across the nation and how income circulates between countries worldwide. So typically they aim to improve the global financial processes and increase the standard of living for different populations. So that is about the concept of macroeconomics. Now we have to compare, we have to look at the similarities and the differences between macro and microeconomics as we move on today. So can I clear the screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we're trying to compare, to look at similarities and differences between them. And the first similarity or difference that we're going to compare is about development. It's about development. And what do we mean when we talk about development? Events like Industrial Revolution, that happened lately around 1960s and 1970s. Events like Industrial Revolution influenced the development of microeconomics, but this theory wasn't sufficient to explain nationwide market behavior. And economics like John Mayer Keynes and Fisher helped fill the gaps by developing the fundamentals of microeconomics in the 1930s, unlike microeconomics. Macroeconomics accounted for what might happen if the market didn't always turn to a state of equilibrium, like what occurred during the Great Depression. So what we are trying to say is that the economics, the forecast, just like weather forecast. Weather forecast will read it tomorrow and say, okay, based on the behavior of the sun over the past 10 years, based on the behavior of the clouds over the past 10 years, there was tsunami when the sun behaved like this, there was earthquake when the weather behaved like there was this. So they are going to forecast into the future of such occurrences. Same thing with economists. They forecast into the future. For example, in the Northeast, due to the detention of Nnamdi Kanu, they have been saying no work. I mean, markets don't open probably on Mondays or something like that. And that alone might be of great concern to economists to see that in which way is this going to affect, the development of such states. So, unlike macroeconomics accounted for what might happen if a market, didn't return to a state of equilibrium. What's the state of equilibrium? Where things are going as calculated and there is no panic, no inflation, no deflation. So that is what we're talking about. So like what occurred during the Great Depression. So that is the first point there. Talking about development, we're able to differentiate between macro and micro economics. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then the second one is purpose. Purpose. We're going to talk about purpose. Talking about purpose between micro and macroeconomics examines similar financial situations such as resource allocation and changing rates of economic progress. So let me put that up here. So the second one, which is number 2, is about the purpose. And like I said, microeconomics and macroeconomics examine similar financial situations such as resource allocation and the changing rate of economic progress. Both concepts are complementary as analysts often use microeconomics principles to provide a context for large-scale financial investigations. For example, if you're going to talk about the performance, what a child is going to become in the future, you can predict the life of that child from primary school, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Based on the interest of the child right from childhood, based on what the child has passions. So the same thing with economics. Even though we are talking about differences between micro and macroeconomics, microeconomics can be used to provide a context for large-scale financial investigation. For example, an academic scholar might examine the GDP of different countries from macroeconomics perspective by using the microeconomics principle of supply and demand to learn how businesses help shape the GDP. Analysts also study how financial events on macroeconomic scale affect individuals and businesses operating on a microeconomic scale. For example, if inflation rates in a country decrease, a company may generate more income during an accounting period and hire more new staff members than initially budgeted. Then the opposite can also become true as smaller scale events may shape decision of the government, decision the government makes and inform industry standard. What we are trying to say is that, like in Nigeria now, you see there is high rate, there is inflation in the country things are, expensive and like that.
Yes,
So let's assume that suddenly there is a drastic change and the inflation rate decrease. Then that means a lot of people that have sold a lot of things at higher price, we have more money to purchase more raw material, because just getting to the market the following day, you find out that everything has become cheap. So what you budget to buy for maybe 500 naira suddenly become 300 naira. Then you tend to buy more in order to produce more. You understand?
yes, sir.
So talking about purpose, the purpose of the study. So we have been able to differentiate between macro and microeconomics in terms of their similarities too. Then the next thing that I want to talk about there is relevance. The relevance. Microeconomics is important because it helps us understand how people and institutions affect the cost of financial projects in different communities. But macroeconomics is important because it allows researchers, we said one deals with the individual more, and one deals with a large number of people. So let's look into this. So the next one, like I said, is the relevance study. So talking about the relevance, microeconomics is important because it helps people understand how people and institutions affect the course of financial progress in different communities. As it emphasizes the relationship between those individual agents, microeconomics can help a company increase production effectiveness and create policies that directly affect the livelihood of its personnel or consumers. So it can also allow a person to view themselves as active participants of the local economy on a day-to-day basis. For example, a company might use microeconomics to address a discrepancy between the value of a product and how much income an employee makes per day. You know that there are some companies that hire people and they pay them based on how much is sold. Yes or no? Are you aware of
Yes,
that?
sir.
Companies
Yes, sir.
hire people and they pay salary, right? Some companies pay salary,
Yes.
but some companies actually don't pay salary. They pay you based on the number of goods you sold. Have you heard that before?
Okay. Not really.
So they pay them based on commission, because they will say, okay, if you're able to sell 12, then the price of 2 is your money. So that means that company is actually not limiting what you can earn in a month. So let's assume the product is 5,000 naira for one, and based on your own marketing skill, you sell 12 in a month. Then the price of 2 will be 10,000 naira. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So that means out of the 12 you have sold, you own the money for 2, which is 10,000 naira. And if before a month, maybe in a week, you're able to sell the 12, then that means you are earning 10,000 naira per week. And if you have a great marketing skill and know how to sell the product, if you're able to sell 12 in a day, that means you'll be earning 10,000 naira per day. You understand?
Yes, sir.
So they use microeconomics to determine this. Say can allow, for example, a company might use microeconomics to address the discrepancy between the value of a product and how much income an employee makes per day. Then macroeconomics is important because it allows researchers to examine the overarching reasons why global economic system functions in a certain way. If things are moving around, like during the lockdown, things were expensive all over because of the lockdown. There was little production, and some things went out of reach because we needed them most during that time. Whoever knows that people will start the business of selling face masks? But face masks has always been there even before the lockdown. You understand me? But
Yes,
the face masks have been left to maybe people that do surgery for patients or whatever. But when the lockdown came, everybody started using the face mask. So with that, economy function in a way that is rather irrational than expected. So researchers can use macroeconomics to determine why products and services have different values in various governmental policies. And this allows them to solve societal issues like housing and employment on a larger scale. It also helps them create strategies for raising and maintaining the worldwide GDP, which describes the total value of products and services a nation provides in a year. Total value of products and services a nation. So if you are asked what's the meaning of GDP, what are you going to say? If you are asked what is the meaning of GDP, what will you say?
GDP.
Yes. GDP, yes.
Total income of a country.
This is actually on your screen, gross domestic product, and we say this describes the total value of products and services, that a nation provides in a year. Okay. So the full meaning of GDP is gross domestic product. That is, domestic. Now we are not talking about foreign. You understand me?
Yes, within the country.
Within the country. So that they render within that country. And the next point, look at here is labor. Labor. So I'm going to put this up now. Let's the screen. So we're talking about macro and microeconomics. While both disciplines consider labor, microeconomics tends to highlight the actions of employees in the overall market and their labor contribution to a specific production process. That means microeconomics narrow the consideration in terms of labor to a particular production process or production area. So if it's going to study, it might study into production of this or that specifically. So researchers can evaluate how businesses establish labor contracts and measure a staff member's salary using this. Then in macroeconomics, researchers often examine the factors contributing to increasing or decreasing employment rates in a country or the global economy. So I take that again. Both disciplines consider labor because we are talking about labor. Or microeconomics tends to highlight the actions of employees in the overall market and their labor, their labor contribution to specific production process. Yes. Then researchers can use this to evaluate how business establish labor contracts and measure a staff member's salary. So what is the job you want this person to do and how much salary you are paying the person? For example, if a school employs somebody to teach mathematics and employed another one to teach government, economics, and maybe one other subject. So definitely, if they are going to be taking the same number of periods or whatever, or the same number of periods per subject, definitely the person that is teaching more is supposed to earn more than the person that is teaching less. Is that not the way it's supposed to be? But that is not feasible in some of our establishments. But that is why this study can help look into that to make sure that the measure of a staff member's salary corroborates the labor contract. In macroeconomics, researchers often use this to examine the factors contributing to increasing or decreasing employment rates in a country or to study the global economy. So depending on the country's needs, applying macroeconomics may help its leaders to determine strategies for maintaining a steady employment rate and improving it over time. If you are asked to explain in an essay, maybe economics, and they said, why is there unemployment in Nigeria? What are you going to say? Or do you think there is unemployment in Nigeria?
Yes.
So why? Is it because people did not go to school? Or is it because people
No.
did not have certificates? Then what is happening?
Corruption.
What do you mean? Are they swallowing jobs or what?
No, like Nigeria doesn't have, unlike other countries, Nigerians don't have opportunity to work, to any living.
Okay, you are talking about the Nigerians, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now let me approach it from this area. How many are you in your class in this school?
30.
30. So if you are 30 in your class, your particular arm, SS1, SS2, your particular arm, how many classes?
From just one or just from
your own mate.
3.
3. Now 30 times 3 is what?
9.
90, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, if you are 90 in your own mate, and the same 90 graduated out of that school when you are about to graduate, do you understand me?
Yes, sir.
So we can now multiply that with the number of schools in Lagos alone for your own mate. Do you understand me?
Yes,
so if we
sir.
multiply that, and there are some schools that those that will graduate with more than 90, that's not so.
Yes, sir.
So let's assume the SS3 of every school that will graduate in each year are about 200. And let's assume there are 500 secondary schools in Lagos. So we have a case at hand now. We're considering 500, 200 students per level times how many schools? 500.
500.
And that is 100,000 undergraduates. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Now, for these 100,000 undergraduates, they will move together. They will finish university at the same time. The number is more than that. I'm just using that as an average. Because even when people write WAEC, we used to have about 5 million or so. Now, if this 100,000 graduates, is there new 100,000 jobs that they want to do when they finish university?
No.
Has the country been able to create a new 100,000 job waiting for this 100,000?
No.
Aha! So you can see, lack of foresight, lack of planning into the future is really affecting country in terms of employment. Because if there are, so number of universities, probably if I just say how many universities in Nigeria, you get the number of universities in Nigeria, then now look at it, that how many people are graduating yearly. If, let's assume, 500,000 students graduate in 1 year, there are no 500,000 jobs for them. They will remain jobless until another one graduates. You with me?
Yes, sir.
Even if some of them, through connection, through this, through that, out of 500,000, hardly shall we see 400,000 that will get job that year. So let's assume that, glory be to God, 400,000 were able to get job. The 100,000 will remain. Coupled with another 500,000 that will finish another year, making 600,000. Let's assume out of them, 400,000 get job again. That's another 100,000 left. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Now, and how many people are retiring every year? To say, okay, as they retire, they will take their job. And meanwhile, those jobs that they are supposed to give to these people, some people are still ordering it, writing names for it, that even their children that are yet unborn have started collecting salary. Go to the north, you will find it. a lot of people, a lot of names in government that they have not even given birth to. When they give birth to them, they just name that child. And when that child grows, it continue that salary. That is where corruption comes. So, what am I trying to explain there is that, hold on. So, what I'm trying to explain here is that we said, depending on the country's need, apply macroeconomics can help its leaders determine strategies for maintaining a steady employment rate or improving it over time. And before we round up, we're going to look at the next point under comparison between macro and micro. So let's look at the last 2 points, then we round up. First point there is emphasis on supply and demand, while the second point is governmental influence on the two of them. So let's see how that goes. So number five, we're talking about emphasis on supply and demand. Microeconomics tends to place a greater emphasis on supply and demand. When there are few supplies available for a highly desired product, its price often increases proportionally. I think we mentioned that before. So researchers may examine how people manage this relationship to better ensure equilibrium, which means there are enough, which is to make sure that there are enough supplies to match consumer pricing preference. And this theory also contributes to a causal relationship between resources and production expenses, which researchers study to determine more. So, for example, if the cost of a metal required for a product increases, then the assembling cost might increase too. So that is an example. And the last one we're looking at here is governmental influence. Because of the wide-reaching nature of macroeconomics, this discipline more closely studies how government influence larger economies. So researchers examine how much wealth each country produces to determine its overall stability. So to find actual information, they typically observe the overall value of nations' products and services per year. That's the GDP, using different measurement strategies. So researchers also monitor other aspects of global economies, including inflation rates, international trading, and overall economy. So I believe that is clear to you.
Yes, sir.
So, by the grace of God, the lecture video will also come in alongside the mathematics lecture. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I'm going to be rounding up here now. Then very soon you will see the link to the lecture. All right, just stay tuned. So, like I said, today we are looking at comprehension passages and we answer some questions as follows. So let me share the screen with you. Yeah, I believe you can see the screen now.
Yes.
Okay, so I will read this first one verse, any other one will have to. All living things can be found in a relatively thin layer or near the surface of the earth. Apart from the sun's energy, all their needs are supplied by the small proportion of the earth's resources contained in this layer. If the water, oxygen, and other elements vital for life were only used once, they would soon run out. This is why many of nature's processes work in cycles. This is a constant exchange of the elements between air, earth, water, plants, and animals, and these recycling processes ensure that all living things are able to live and grow. So the processes are dash for life. Pick your option.
The processes are necessary.
So let's look at it and see the answer. So necessary, that is correct. So the next one, read this and read it aloud and let me hear. Yes, read it out.
Williams worked on homeward reading this. It's not clear to me.
Okay, Williams walked on homeward, weaving the splendid web of his future. The road to greatness lay plainly before his eyes, straight and shining, without any obstacle that he could see. He had stepped off the path of honesty, as he understood it, but he would soon regain it, never to leave it anymore. It was a very small matter. He would soon put it right again. Meantime, his duty was not to be found out, and he trusted in his skills, in his luck, and in his well-established reputation that would disarm suspicion if anybody dared to suspect. But nobody would dare. He was Dash. Pick your option.
He was modest.
He was modest, confident. He was confident. Okay? Why do you think confidence is the option? Yes, why do you think confidence is the option?
Because of his attitude of honesty.
Because of his attitude, and not even because he was honest also. He trusted in his skills, in his luck, and in his well-established reputation. So people won't suspect him for any foul play. Okay? Okay, so you're going to read the next one. Get yourself ready. Now read this.
The poor fish that live in Death Valley Nation Parks are called Devil's Hole Codfish. They are 1 minus 1 over 2 inches to 2 minus 1 over 2 inches, 4 to 6 centimeters long, and can survive in water up to 112 degrees Fahrenheit, 44 degrees Celsius. The females are brown and white colored. The males are blue and purple colored. Poor fish can flee from one small pool to another, and some are able to hibernate in mud during the winter. Poor fish are
Yes, pick your option.
adaptable.
Adaptable. That's correct, because they can adapt in all those situations, such as 112 degree Fahrenheit, also to hibernate in mud during the winter. Yes. So, the next question. Yes, read this.
I was beginning to learn about the farmer and what I found that I liked. They had a toughness and a philosophical attitude which was new to me. Misfortunes which would make the city dwellers want to bang his head against a wall were struggled off with. These things happen. They are Dash people.
Okay, hold on. Let me read that. I was beginning to learn about farmers, and what I found I liked. They had a toughness and a philosophical attitude which was new to me. Misfortunes which would make the city dweller want to bang his head against a wall were shrugged off with I. Well, these things happen. They just say I. Well, these things happen. You understand what that says? So they were Dash people. They were Dash people, yes.
Positive people.
Positive people. That's correct. So probably let me read this one. He often bought big sheets of white paper for a penny and gave them to the children to draw on. for a light to see them drawing. Boys built steam engines and animals, but Hannah Mary was not satisfied with that. She thought she could do better. She wanted to do whole scenes, and she wanted to do them in color. Lacking paints, she used grape juice and crushed berries for color. Sometimes she used a stub of red or blue carpenter's chalk or the red dye that her father used to mark the sheep. Anything she could get their hands, anything she could get her hands on that would make a picture bright and cheerful. So she was dash.
Determined.
Determined. That's correct. So you have to read the next one. Yes.
She was whistling always. She whistled like a bird, whistling in tune, clear and soft, clear and sweet, thrilling, chipping or dropping notes one by one as a meadow lark drops them from the sky. I was pleased to hear her whistling again. She was
Yes.
talented.
Yes, she was talented. That's correct. Okay, from the tower, he could see anything the highway and the city as so far as the mesa beyond. He focused on the binoculars on the mesa and watched the radar installation for a time, but nothing unusual appeared to be happening there. He lowered the glasses slightly to watch the new Green Star encampment down at the roadside park. The area of the park had been roped off. Tents were being pitched. Utility crews worked at tapping the gas and power lines. Several men were engaged in hoisting a sign at the entrance to the park, but they held it edgewise to his gaze and he could not read it. Somehow, the boiling activity reminded him of a nomad carnival coming to town. He dashed the area. Yes.
He cleans.
Observed. Because he was using a binocular to study the area. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay, read this.
Rothenberger had every reason to be confident as she gathered to the starting line. She was the defending Olympic champion and had broken
Bonus world record.
Bonnie's world record
In a pre-Olympic meet. In a pre-Olympic meet at the Calgary rink.
Now, when it counted the most, Rothenberger roared of the starting line. She passed the first 100 meters, and the announcer called out her time of 10.57 seconds. She was
Yes. Yeah, what's up? Jeffrey. Determine. Why could determine be the answer? He said Rodenberger had every reason to be confident as she glided to the starting line. She was the defending Olympic champion and had broken a lot of records. You understand me? Had broken Bonnie's world record in a pre-Olympic meet at the Calgary rink. Now, when it counted most, Rothenberger roared off the starting line. She passed the first 100 meters, and the announcer called out a time of 10.57 seconds. So she was determined. Because she was determined, then she rushed to the starting line when the race was about to begin. Okay?
yes.
So the next one, Boston, was bustling, crowded, flourishing town. A great port. Its wealth was its wealth was in its ships. From the West Indies, the ships brought molasses and sugars, molasses and sugar, raisins, limes, and oranges. From England, they brought paper and glass, thread, fish hooks, metal tools, and tea, coffee, silk, and spice the English ships had brought to London from Far East. So Boston was dash.
Thriving.
Thriving. That's correct. Boston was thriving, was growing. Okay, you can read this.
Farmers make up 80% of Japanese 19th century population of 30 million. Each farmer's rank was determined by the amount of rice he grew. A harvest of 500,
Bushels.
for example, entitled him to have a large home, provided it had no parlor, and the roof was not tiled.
5.
A hundred
Bushel.
bushel harvest meant a tiny hut with no floor mat. A farmer ranked depending on his production.
Production. That's correct. So, the thing Yuki liked most to deliver, the thing Yuki liked most to deliver was the one from Mrs. Jamison. Her house was warm and cozy and full of wonderful scents of dried rose petals and spices. She usually made a cup of hot cocoa for Yuki whenever she came to visit, and then got out something from her bulging closet to show her. Sometimes it was her husband's stamp or shell collection. He had been the captain of a freighter and had collected stamps and shells from all over the world. Sometimes Mrs. Jamison brought out a jewelry box full of precious stones and rings and bracelets and brooches that the captain had bought for her in Algiers and Istanbul or Lisbon. Yuki loved the jewelry box best. Mrs. Jamison was dash.
Harrison was friendly.
That's correct. So read this.
The sight and sound of huge bubbles rising in glass columns set the underwater mood in the lobby of the
Aquarium.
National Aquarium in Central Space.
In central space, daylight,
Daylight
fades,
giving
daylight fades.
daylight face, giving the feelings of a descent in the ocean depths. The lightning exhibits glow in the darkness. The recorded sound of ocean waves, seagulls, and distant fog horns can be heard as
Beluga
belugas
whale.
will swim in the ocean pool. The
In the
aquarium
open
provided
pool.
a light fabric. The
Yes,
aquarium provided a realistic
that's correct. You will often see the warning sign on the bottle cap of the state's safety button. Button pops off when the original seal is broken. Manufacturers of these bottles seal the top onto the jar and the bottle for one or two reasons. In some cases, it is done so that the air won't oxidize the content and allow bacteria to grow. This gives this gives the bottles a longer shelf life. The seal is also used to let consumer know that no one has tampered with the content. Safety seals are dashed.
Beneficial.
Okay, that's correct. Beneficial. Yes, read this.
Peter was handed over to Mr. Treaser for his initial training into the trade of copper. The little foreman, so grey of complexion and hair that he seemed perpetually covered with a light hoar frost, operated on the assumption that all boys knew nothing. He regarded himself as the only complete repository of knowledge in the art of woodworking, and he was in no hurry to share his knowledge with his apprentice. Mr. Treaser was inquisitive,
Haughty. Haughty. You know, because he said he regarded himself as the only complete repository of knowledge in the heart of woodwork, being full of himself, and he was in no hurry to share this knowledge with his apprentices. You understand?
yes, sir.
Okay, read this.
If you're interested in playing hockey, it may be a long time before you actually join a team. You need time to learn how to stake, practice the basics, get in shape, and figure out what your skills are and what position you want to play. Each position in hockey gives equally to the success of the team. You need to
Mhm.
explore,
Prepare. He said you need time to learn how to skate, practice basics, get in shape, and figure out what your skills are and what position you want to play. So that's part of the preparation before you go on a team. Okay?
yes, sir.
Both companies wanted to cover as much territory as possible because they were being paid by the mile. According to the Pacific Railroad Act, these contestants for American dollar were to meet head-on and link rails. The Big Four hoped to spring ahead so that the eventual meeting place will be as far east as possible. It will mean more territory and more money for them. Officials of the Union Pacific were formidable opponents, pushing towards the West Coast, intent upon stretching their track as fast and as far as they could. Both companies were engaged in a race with no set finish line. The companies were dashed.
Competitive,
Competitive, that is correct. They're competing against one. Yes, you can read this one.
Matt found work at the restaurant, sleeping there at night. One customer, a sailor, told the young boy tales of life aboard a sailing ship, and Matt wanted to try it too. He left the security of his restaurant job and walked 40 miles, 64 kilometers to the part of Baltimore, Maryland. The sailor dash Matt, inspired.
Inspire, that's correct. Okay, it was his all-time favorite book and he read it, studied it often. The cover had a floppy, draped white glove inside, an upside-down top, art filled with cards and dice. There was a cord, a rope, and a handkerchief, and a coin beneath the cover. It was a beautiful cover. The first thing that had attracted Jamie to it at the Littleton bookstore, Van had bought for him. Van had bought it for him. The first time the three of them, Jamie, Van, and Patty, had spent time together, and Van was the nicest he would ever be to Jamie. So he dashed the book.
Cherished.
Cherish the books. That's correct. That's correct. So, can you see this one? Read the next one.
Captain's child had books on geography, history, math, and literature, especially Dickens and Shakespeare. Matt had gone to school in Washington, D.C., but only through the sixth grade, and this wasn't enough for his study. And this
For him.
wasn't enough for him. So he studied in the captain's library with Captain's child as his teacher. The captain taught Matt about people and places and dates. And dates he taught and days he taught Matt to respect himself and others. He taught him to be a man who proves his worth by his work. Matt dashed his education. Continued.
Continue. That's correct. It was always a pleasure to me to see Willie Winter at a banquet. During a matter of 20 years, I was seldom at a banquet where Willie Winter was not also present. And where did he not read a charming poem written for the occasion? And where he did not read a charming poem for the occasion? So he did it this time, and it was up to standard, dainty, happy, choicely phrased, and as good to listen to as music, and sounding exactly as if it was pouring unprepared out of art and frame. Willie Winter was a dash poet, yes. Yes, was a dash poet, or was an dash. Admirable. That's correct. So, with that, we have come to the end of this particular one, but still going to share another one with you as we still have some time. So, look at this. Look at this picture. I want to save money to the bank, so I must fill the dash. Yes.
Deposit slip.
Okay, deposit slip. That's correct. Not seeing your face, probably you're not using your video. The doctor wants to know the information about our health, so we should fill the dash.
Medical form.
Medical. Your face is not showing. Hello?
Sir?
Said your face is not showing?
Are you seeing it?
No. Hold on. Okay, now I can see you. Let me see first. Hold on. The screen is not showing there, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Hold on. Want to something here. To set. Just a few minutes. Check. All right. Okay. Medical form, that was correct. Read the next one.
I want to order some clothes for next month, so I must fill purchase order.
That's correct. Yeah. Yes.
I want to join her team, so I should fill enrollment form.
Enrollment form, that's correct. So what's the next one?
I want to order batik from PT Batik Pekalongan.
Yes.
Pekalongan. What should I fill in? Item description. Streets, cable to right.
What do you want to order?
Long dress.
So you want to order what? Batik from the question. What do you want to order from the question? I want to order batik from PT Batik. So long dress batik mixed colors. That's the one that you're supposed to pick. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So let me read this. Internet has been the most outstanding invention in the history of mankind. With internet, Earth has become a global village. Yet, like many other human-made technologies, it has its own advantages and disadvantages. There are plenty of software that can entertain us or help us to communicate with our beloved ones. In a mere second, we can chat for hours with a person who is sitting at the other parts of the world. We can read our mail in our smartphone or listen to our favorite radio broadcast by streaming it on our table. So, read any of these and choose your option. Okay, hold on please, hold on. On our table, are you seeing the screen now?
Yes.
With its easy access, internet also has its disadvantages. One of them is children may be exposed to violent and explicit content that's only suitable for adults. There are thousands of such inappropriate content on the internet, which can easily be found. It is a very serious issue and may harm children's well-being. Although the internet can create havoc and destruction, its advantages are more important than its disadvantages. So, hold on. What is one disadvantage of the internet?
One advantage.
One disadvantage.
It exposes children to violence.
Okay, exposes children to violence. So, nowadays, the police have been applying the new regulation concerning the use of seatbelts. In European countries, this regulation has been applied for a long time. However, this new regulation has become controversial and is an interesting topic to discuss. Here are some of the arguments. The use of seatbelt has been proven to reduce the risk of injury or death in an accident. Seatbelt has become standard component in cars. The research shows that most car accidents will cause an injury to the head. Frequently, drivers or the passengers driving without seatbelts die because of this. Hold on, please. Because of this, by wearing the injury will not happen since the seatbelt restrains our body on the car when the accident occurs. When the accident happens. Unfortunately, many cars, especially the old ones, don't have seatbelts. This is because the traffic conditions in the past were unlike recent traffic conditions. The designer of old cars didn't consider a seatbelt as an important part. Besides, the drivers wearing seatbelts will think that they are completely safe. They are completely safe, so they make drive carelessly. They are safe indeed. How about safety of others? The seatbelt is only one of the ways to reduce the risk of car accidents. It doesn't mean that we are completely safe in short. Our safety depends on ourselves. So, what is the main idea of paragraph 3? Let's check the paragraph one by one. This is paragraph 1, paragraph 2, and paragraph 3. So what is the main idea of paragraph 1?
The main idea of the passage.
Paragraph 3. Yes. I'm showing you paragraph 3 now. Look at it again. This is paragraph 1. Can you see paragraph 1 now?
Yes.
Then this is paragraph 2 under it. Then this is paragraph 3.
The old cars have do not use seatbelt.
The old cars do not use. That's correct. Okay, read this.
Ecologists comment that H5N1 virus still remains a bird virus and has no scientific evidence of human-to-human transmissions. They said there are billions of people across Asia, which only 118 are reported being affected by avian flu. So how do they calculate to show that 150 million or more deaths will come from avian flu? This global panic, according to the ecologists, is the result
of scare tactics
created by politicians,
medical officers, and the media.
The underlined word refers to medical, no ecologist.
That's correct. Okay, I'm going to be rounding up this session now. Then we'll prepare for the government class soon, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. So just stay tuned there. Today, we'll be looking at some questions in government. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
In the spirit, you know that to show.
Okay, so go straight to the question. Here is the first question. Can you read the question?
A set of rules that decides how votes are cast, counted, and translated into seats in the legislature's electoral
What?
system.
Electoral system. That's correct. Okay. Yes.
A second round election in which voters choose between the top two candidates from the first round is runoff election.
Runoff elections. Right. Yes.
The people who are represented by elected officials are
Yes.
the
The people. Okay. You
districts.
said district constituents. Okay. Is that taken?
Yes, sir.
Or the next one?
A body of voters in a specified who elect 32 legislative is majority system.
Constituency. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yes.
An electoral district in which voters choose one relative or official. Single member district.
That's correct. Yes.
A candidate must win 50 plus 1% of total votes cast to win the election. Plurality system.
Majoritarian system. Having the majority. When you win 50 plus 1% of total votes, that's the majority. Yes. The next one.
Okay. An electoral system in which the winner is the person who gets the most votes, even if he or she does not receive a majority. Okay, plurality.
That's correct. Yes.
An electoral system where the candidate with the most votes wins regardless of whether that person has the majority of the votes cast. This is not no runoff election.
That is, there is no runoff election in this.
More proportional representation.
Let's pass the poll system. Okay.
Yes.
So the next one.
An electoral system in which the legislative seat voted only to the who come in first in their constituency.
So there are two answers here.
Okay. Winner takes all system and first put the poll system.
That's correct.
A second round election in which voters choose between the top two candidates from the first round. Okay, runoff election.
That's correct.
An electoral district is more than one seat. Is multi-member district.
Member district.
An election system in which each party running receive the proportion of legislative seats corresponding to its purpose of the vote.
Proportion of the vote, yes.
Proportional representation.
That's correct. Okay.
An electoral system that uses a combination of single-member district and proportional representation is mixed electoral system.
Right. Okay. It's asking you for this particular one, but I guess you can't see the image well, right?
Yes, I can.
So it's proportional.
Yes, I can see.
Yes, it's proportional representation based on their number of votes. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So okay, this one now asking for what type, and that one is first past the post. That is the majority win. Okay.
Okay. Yes, sir.
So and we move over to this one. Yes.
A view or judgments formed about something, not necessarily based on fact or knowledge. A view of judgments formed about something. Truth.
Truth. That's an opinion. That's just the way you feel. You're just speaking your mind. Yeah, this is my judgment. This is my view. You understand me?
Yes, sir.
So you might not have facts for what you're saying. Your face is not showing. The next one. Your face is not showing. Yes, read the next one and let your face show.
Okay.
Okay, it's showing now.
Yes.
Yes.
Misleading information used to promote a political cause or point of view is propaganda.
Propaganda. Correct. Yes.
Television, radio, the internet, newspaper, magazines, books, recordings, movies, mass media.
Mass. Correct. Yes.
A thing that is known or proved to be true. Facts.
Fact. That's a fact. So, when you are writing essays, if it's depending on the type of essay you are writing, if it's letter writing, you may not state fact. Are you listening?
Yes, sir.
But if it's any other kind of essay, be it argumentative or so, facts are the main point. It's your points, okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes. The next one.
Good or bad feelings about a person, group that affects judgment. Bias.
Bias. When you are biased, maybe it's because the person in the presidency, maybe the president is from your party, and you are like not being able to speak the truth concerning the person's the way the country has been moving. Then they will say you are biased because the person is religion or your party. Okay. The next one.
Believe that government should intervene in this economic and produce a broad range of social services to ensure well-being and equality
Yes.
across society. Let's win is
Wait a minute. We did not do this one. Oh yeah. Read this one.
believe that government should be small, operating mainly at the state or local level, favors minimal government interference in the economy, right wing,
It's called
liberal,
what?
liberal,
This is conservative. Okay.
conservative.
Now the
Yes,
next one.
believe that government should intervene in the economic and provide a broad range of social services to ensure well-being and equality across society, left wing, political action committee.
It's actually Libra. So here we're talking about Libra and conservative. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the next.
To have overreach.
Average.
Overreach feelings about
Average.
political view
Average.
and option.
Average
No,
feeling.
to have average feelings about political views and opinions. The political center conservative.
It's this is actually talking about people who do a bloodshed politics. Okay. People who have do or die politics. So if you are average, you are moderate, you have average feelings about political views, don't let it be a do or die affair. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, next one.
Money given directly to a political candidate is hard money.
Hard money, that's correct. And wait a minute.
An organized course of action. An
Yes,
organized course of action to achieve the goal. It's campaign.
campaign. That's correct.
Sorry,
Hmm?
I'm coming.
Okay.
So I'm coming up.
Okay, no problem.
I can continue.
All that
You said? What did you say?
I say I can continue answering the question.
Okay, now we can. Here's the next one.
Should prepare for formally enter as a candidate for election.
To propose.
Nominate.
Yes, nominate. That's correct. Okay.
Election in which voters determine their party nominee for an elective office. Primary election.
Primary election. Correct. Next one.
Series of statements expressing the party principles, belief and position.
Hmm?
Playlist.
That's the platform. Okay.
Okay. Yes, sir.
So next.
Something that is given to charity or campaign, especially a sum of money, donation,
Donation. That's correct.
indirect contribution to political campaign, Hard money.
Soft money. The one that is given directly to the political party. Okay.
Election in which voters choose among candidates from different parties to fill an elective office. General election.
Yes, general election. Yes, the next one.
Group of voters with common interests who want to influence into office. Political organization committee.
Political party. Okay. Do you get that?
Yes, sir.
Because group of voters with common interest who want to influence government decisions by electing the party's candidate into office. So they will say it's our own candidate that we want, have it? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So the next one.
An organization that raises money privately to influence election or legislation. Political answer convention.
Political action committee. Okay. And the last one.
Nominated for election is a candidate.
Okay, so that is to test your knowledge on our previous topic about election. So that is where we'll be rounding up today, okay?
Yes, sir.
So by the grace of God, we continue next week by God's grace. So,
Okay, sir.
expect your lecture video during the week. Do have a nice time. Bye for now.